So I've been asked to do a review of my Joying Car Auto Android deck for my 2008 Volkswagen GTI. Normally you won't see it go through this boot up screen. The very first time you will. I have customized my boot up screen a little bit though, as you'll see coming up here. The standard boot up screen is just a Joying logo like you saw. I'm just going to back out a little bit here, it's a little too close. One thing I will show you while we're waiting here though is that it does have nice buttons, nice actual hard buttons, not soft buttons. So I chose this because it gives it more of a factory look, and those buttons are tied to your light switch. So when you turn your lights off, whenever you restart it, it will always go to, it's always going to go into radio mode. You can change that, but I don't. It doesn't bother me to hit the home button. The two knobs allow you to both. This one allows you to mute and volume, and this one allows you to change channels if you're in the standard radio app. You can see on mine, I've customized it a little bit because I do have a different launcher. I have the Microsoft launcher on here, which I really like. I find it, I don't know, I find it much nicer to work with. I like the design. I use it on my phone too, so it's very familiar for me. And because this is Android Auto, you get all the standard Android apps. Android thinks that it's a tablet. Joying did change some stuff though. When you go into, for example, the settings menu, which can be fun sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to drag this down. Do it with my other hand here. When you go into the settings menu, you can see that it does have a little bit of a different look to it. This one is actually running Android 6.01, as you can see. Intel Atom processor, so not the fastest in the world, but for in your vehicle it actually works fairly well. So it does have the hard buttons again for brightness. You can adjust the brightness, get it how you like it. You can use the built-in EQ that comes with. Again, it comes with a bunch of standard presets, or you can change it to custom if you want. If you go to user, that's the custom. You can see that it changes according to what you choose. I pretty much leave it flat all the time. With my speakers, it sounds decent. You can also go in here, oops, and you can adjust the balance, front, back, so on and so forth, just like any other car stereo. Using it as a phone, I have this button set up here, and it's very simple. It's got a nice layout. And this is also where you pair Bluetooth devices. It doesn't use the standard Bluetooth pairing that Android has. So in some ways it's okay, but I would really prefer to have the standard Android pairing. There are ways to re-enable it if you have root access, which I do. I just haven't bothered to do it yet. So some of my favorite things that I like to have in here, torque is one of them. I love having the ability to see all of my status, everything that's going on. I can see my coolant temperature, my RPMs, speed, anything like that. And I've got a few different screens set up, for example, being able to see my O2 sensors and cat temperatures and things like that. I also have pulse set up on here, so if I get a text message on my phone while it's tethered, I actually get that message showing up on my screen. So because I have Android Auto on here, the actual Android Auto app, when I'm in here, if I get a text message, it will actually show up as an actionable item in here, and you can reply by voice, you can dismiss it. You can actually, when a text message comes in, you can hit a little reply button. It's a quick reply that allows you to just say, I'm driving right now, and not have to really do anything. You can just give people a quick note like that. So you can see that the phone screen pops up. That's one of my coworkers. but this is probably what I use the most when I'm in the Android Auto app, is the actual maps. Um, Maps on here are optimized for the screen, so you can see you get, you know, readable names for streets and things like that, versus being in the actual Google Maps app, where things are not optimized for the screen size, they're optimized for, you know, a tablet design. So things get washed out a little bit. The text is much smaller, and it's not as easy to use. It's also not as optimized for speed. In the Android Auto app, it's much quicker to do searches and things like that. Again, it is a standard Android device, so you know, you can, depending on the launcher that you're using. This is the Microsoft launcher's app scroll, and you know, you can zip through here. You can do things like adjust your steering wheel controls. You can set, you know, what each button does, you know, and program buttons how you want. So for example, you know, like on here, if I click on band, it's going to open the radio. Click it, and I'm going to mute it again. If I click on nav, right now it's asking me, I haven't set one up, so I go to set, and then I can choose what I actually want to use for a navigation app. And you know, for this, I'm going to choose maps. So now when I hit nav, it actually takes me straight to Google Maps. So there's lots of cool things like that you can do. Again, I use Spotify, just like anything else. I have my phone set up to automatically tether, so as soon as it detects the deck in use, it automatically turns on my tethering, so you can see, you know, my internet works just like anywhere else, and it's fantastic. I can play my Spotify just like if I was anywhere else. So again, real quick review. I think it's a great device. I think it works great. There are some little hiccups, you know, things like it not being as fast as I wish it was. But again, small price to pay for the functionality of something as useful as this. I think it's definitely worth the money, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who wants it.